It's a Matter of Principles by EDU TV. EDU TV with 1 million eyeballs across the globe.
Connecting schools, universities, industries, and corporate houses.
Hi, Yudhishter. Welcome to this little brief session that we are about to do. I'd love to hear a little about you and a little about your background. I know that you've been in the education industry for a while. Can you give us a small gist of maybe your experience, your childhood, all of that quickly?
Good morning, Shyama.
Good morning.
I am from Dehradun. We have a school in Dehradun by the name of Dehradun Hills Academy. It's a boutique residential school. It's a 33-year-old school, and I have been lucky that I've got an opportunity to study in the same school. So when I was growing up, my father, he's from Doon School. So he had an option of sending me to Doon School or making me study in his own school. So he said, I would rather make you study in your own school for no other reason that, at least you will have some affiliation to this project. So
Hmm.
tomorrow, if you do decide to come back and run this enterprise, at least you will have something which will add as an advantage to you, as opposed to sending you to probably the best school in Dehradun or in
Hmm.
India. Because then probably he had a thing that maybe if I go to Doon school, maybe I will then probably shift my base to, some third world country, go to London or go to Australia and not come back. And I'm the only child. So that was the whole thing. And so coming back, I think, it's been good 10, 12 years since I've been running this project. So I
Okay.
think, on a whole, I think that decision paid off, and I'm happy that I've had that privilege of studying in that same school, teaching in that same school, and now running it as an administrator. So I've seen various facets of it, which
Hmm.
probably augurs me well when I'm running and when I'm taking those decisions. It helps me understand those intricacies far better, as opposed to if I wouldn't have had that experience.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand because you obviously can empathize from a student point of view, you empathize from a teacher point of view, and now you're
Yes.
standing at the top view and looking at it all. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the most difficult, Shama, would probably be for the students, because when I interact with the students, I try to interact as much as I can. So when I interact with them, the first thing that I tell them is, boss, I know where exactly you are trying to be smart with me, because I've been a student myself
I've done
in the
that.
same
Yeah.
very school.
Yeah.
I've done it all. So
Yeah.
I know exactly. So please be mindful of the fact that I am aware of it. And also, I think what I eventually tell the students is that we all must have observed is, we have transitioned from being a concept based school, the education industry, to a very infrastructure heavy based industry.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
Whereas if you go back 30, 40, 50 years, if you go to any Christian missionary school, or even the best of schools, they had more of a concept in their education system.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, they had decent facilities, but they would not overpower the concept. So
Yeah.
today, when I meet my students, I tell them, when I was a student 25, 30 years back, at that point of time, we would not have even half the facilities that you all are getting.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
whereas we would not complain about those things.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
would happily spend our time. We would not complain. And that has got us where we are today. And coming to your topic of health and nutrition, at that point of time, we were only given a very, very basic balanced diet, which is comprising primarily of our Indian food.
Yeah.
Didn't have that many options of junk food or having burgers and pizzas, because Dehradun is just, last 15, 20 years is that's when we've got McDonald's, Domino's, pizzas coming in. If you go back 20 years down, we didn't have it. We didn't have those options available. So
Right.
these days, students, unfortunately, they don't go out and play much. They don't exercise
Exactly.
as much. They
Yeah.
don't exercise as much. They feel tired. They feel lethargic.
Yeah.
And I think a large part of it is because of the food part, because they don't take health as seriously as they should.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was just thinking that too. In our childhood was so different, right? Where we had the option of. I was just telling somebody that for in our days the punishment would be no 1 hour of PT. You're not getting that 1 hour of breather that you get outside. But today
Exactly.
times have changed, right? I see a lot of schools emphasize on clean eating, on activity, keeping yourself active mentally, physically, all of that. And yeah, given the day and age that we are in, the tech world is insane. So yeah,
I think
I
it is overpowering to an
yeah,
extent, I feel. It
yeah,
is
yeah,
overpowering to an extent.
yeah. Childhood is lost to an extent, right? That's how I would put it. It used to be so simple.
I mean, I don't think childhood exists anymore, at least not in the metros.
Yeah,
In the smaller tier two cities, still there is some semblance of a child being able to enjoy some form of entertainment, which goes beyond technology. But I think in metros, I think it's all gone. I mean, friendships are on Instagram and
yeah,
Facebook.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
All the gaming is done on PS4 or game Xbox.
The
Barely
rewards are
anybody.
that. Technology is the reward, right? So you're
Yeah.
shushing your child with a tablet or your phone. So that's where it
But,
all
but, but,
begins.
but birthday gifts are expensive phones and
Yeah,
tablets
absolutely, absolutely. I didn't get one
rather than
in my first year of engineering. I didn't have a mobile. But today it's funny if they're in grade seven and they don't have a mobile, then it's considered, what are you doing with your life? But yeah,
I think
absolutely.
if we keep a balance of it, I mean, which we at Dehradun Hills Academy, we try to balance it out.
Okay.
I mean, right balance is very important. I
Yeah,
mean, staying away from technology is not the solution either.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, but right balance, I mean, having using it in the right optimal manner is probably the way forward, I feel.
Yeah, yeah. So, Yudhishthir, given that y'all are a residential school, am I right?
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Okay, all in all residential. So, given that the way of life for a child is um, a lot monitored by the school, what are the activities that are taken in terms of A, do you incorporate health as part of the curriculum? B, is there some kind of extensive knowledge or extensive hours that are dedicated towards physical movement, etc. in the school?
On a whole, I mean, residential schools in general,
Mm.
if we compare them vis-a-vis a day school,
Yeah.
I mean, a day school will have a limited timeline. I mean, from morning 8 o'clock till 1:32, or in the afternoon 3:30. So we've got very strict schedules in day school, as
Mm.
opposed to boarding school where the child is on campus throughout the day, from
Yeah.
morning 6 in the morning till in the evening.
Mm.
So there's no denying that every boarding school, not only ours, every boarding school will have a lot of emphasis on the physical side of things.
Mm.
They'll have morning PT, they'll have yoga classes, they'll have some, I mean, morning walks taking place. So
Mm.
we are no different in that sense. I
Okay.
mean, whether the area where the school is located is right along the Raji National Park. So
Wow.
everything, whether it's summers or winters, I mean, 6 in the morning, it's bloody cold, to be very honest. The
Yeah.
students will their track uppers, and the first thing that they will do is they'll go for a nice walk for good half an hour, 45 minutes. They'll just walk and go for a walk, come back. So, I mean, that is something that none of them are used to coming from metros,
Yeah.
correct? So everybody would probably be inclined to walk on a treadmill, but
Yeah.
nothing like a natural walk in the park,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
nothing like when you are in the nature.
Yeah.
And so that is a must that we try to imbibe. Other than that, a lot of emphasis is given on the organic lifestyle within our system.
Okay.
So we are having our own private farms.
Okay.
So we are growing a lot of our own vegetables. I wouldn't say we are growing all of it, but we are growing certain herbs. So the concept of it is from the farm to the kitchen.
Mm.
So the students are helping growing the vegetables as well on a
Yeah.
smaller scale. And then, I mean, like this, I mean, it is winters right now in northern India.
Yeah.
So they will have a lot of greeny vegetable that is served to them on a regular daily basis.
Mm.
And trust me, Shama, they are not used to eating green vegetables at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
But when they are served something which is delicious and which is really fresh, and it just changes the flavor in it completely, and it becomes very delicious for them to enjoy and snack upon it.
Yeah. 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 Fair. Yeah. So it's the whole connecting them to the food that they're consuming is what you're saying, right? With
Yes, we are
all the
trying. I mean, it gets a little difficult because, I mean, breaking the child's eating habits is very difficult.
yeah.
So when a child is coming to us in a junior class, say third, fourth, and fifth, that's when it becomes easy for him to break those bad habits
Right.
of junk food,
Right.
as opposed to somebody who's coming in eighth, ninth, or 11th grade. I mean, for that child, adjusting is very, very difficult
Yeah.
because suddenly I mean, he's not accessible, he does not have access to junk food.
It's a culture
He
shock.
wants
Yeah.
yeah, it is. I mean, that's very true. I mean, I have students from Gurgaon and other parts of metros. They would. I mean, the first month goes into just making it easy for them by providing them junk food to an extent, because
Mm.
otherwise they'll not be able to survive there. And
Yeah.
I mean, I may be looked by parents. I mean, why I'm being so brutally honest. I feel the parents have an important role to play.
Absolutely.
The parents take it very light, very, I mean, very casually. They don't encourage students to, I mean, encourage their children to eat certain things which are very important. And I think that's where kilometers comes into the picture by offering them healthy eating options.
Yeah, absolutely. We blame parents too, to an extent, because there are two things. One is they all lead very busy lifestyles, a little unlike what our parents were, although they also did lead busy lifestyles. They were a little more cognizant of what is going into the child's dabba. Today, people don't have the time. Everyone's pressed for time, right? That's one. And two is, I think what's happening is food is becoming more treated like a reward, right? I see a lot of parents reward their child with junk food. It's
Yeah.
like a reward. It's just like, yeah, you've done great, so here's your little sweet treat. And that's where the ground itself is set wrong. So yeah.
I mean, I have my boarders when they go back home. I mean, it's sad to say. I mean, when they go back home, the first thing on their application is Zomato or Swiggy,
Yeah.
rather than a home cooked meal by their mother or their parents.
Yeah.
Because mothers are too busy in their life, like you rightly said.
Yeah.
So, I mean, invariably, if he's at home for 1 month, so out of 30 days, probably 15, 17 meals will be from Swiggy or Zomato, or he'll be going out. That
Absolutely.
has changed. As opposed to when we were kids, when we were growing up, we would crave for going back home and eating घर का दाल
Yeah.
रोटी सब्जी,
Yeah.
मम्मी ये करेले की सब्जी, whatever जो भी खाना
Yeah.
होता है वो that's changed.
और उस टाइम पे काफी कॉम्प्लिकेटेड भी था, राइट? इफ यू हैव टू गेट आउटसाइड फूड, यू हैव टू गो स्टैंड इन द क्यू एट द रेस्टोरेंट, पिक अप द बैग एंड कम बैक. अभी तो
It's
बहुत
very
इजी हो
cumbersome.
गया है. You just
After one click,
one click,
you
you're right
while
there.
I mean before you reach home, the food will be delivered.
Absolutely. So, Yudhishthir, next very important question, and probably my last. I'm not going to take too much of your time. What is the policy behind junk food storage in the school? Do you entertain parents sending, because I'm sure in a boarding people feel like, oh, my poor child. So do you entertain parents sending them junk, or is it something that you kind of deny the child of?
Uh, I'll tell you. See, I mean, it's a slightly tricky thing.
Hmm.
I mean, balancing is the right approach, to
Yeah.
be very honest. And
Yeah.
making the parents understand the logic behind it is probably where the struggle is. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So, and to a larger extent, what we do is, I mean, we try and ask the parents to limit the junk food as far as possible, as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, as far as chips and drinks or colas are concerned, we it's a big no-no. That's not allowed. So
Mm-hmm.
what we tell them is, if you want your child to have it, I mean, send it for one particular day. He can share it with his 20 students or his classmates, but not beyond. Don't send him the stock for at least a month or so. All right. Send him for a day. That's fine with us. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
because saying no to something in totality, I think that also does not work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, balancing is the key. So I mean, we try to, I mean, ask the parents, why don't you cook something? Maybe some whatever, some sweet पुराने जैसे होते थे, लड्डू होते थे या कुछ होते थे, आप घर से बना के दो. At least बच्चे को उसका स्वाद आएगा, and उसका it will be at least more nutritious as opposed to giving him a chocolate.
Hmm.
और तो चॉकलेट तो चॉकलेट होती है, to be very honest, and they're
Correct.
not healthy. I mean, you would be the right person to tell the nutritious part of it. All
Yeah,
right, they're not healthy. So
yeah.
I mean, many parents from the northern side, I mean, coming from the rural belt,
Hmm.
I mean, they have got onto that habit of sending them something home cooked,
Hmm.
eat laddus or be it something which is, I mean, which is to an extent organic. But I
Yeah.
think organic is one area where people don't understand what is organic, what is not organic.
Very
Just a
great.
label,
Yeah,
just a
yeah,
label saying organic is not organic.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
All
Absolutely.
right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, other than that, another thing that we emphasize on is, I mean, as far as our cafe, we have our own cafe in school.
Okay.
We don't so what the cafe does is it cooks fresh food for the students itself.
Okay.
So we have some of our students itself who are into the hospitality segment, who
Okay.
are wanting to learn about the skills. So
Okay.
they themselves will prepare burgers and I mean pizzas for the students, or maybe a cold coffee or a cheese grilled sandwich for them, as opposed to us ordering it from outside. Because when we order it from outside, Shama, what happens is we don't really know what we are ordering in
Yeah,
that
what's
sense.
going into it? Yeah, absolutely.
What's
Yeah.
going into it. And to be very honest, I wouldn't like to name any brand, but you and me both know. I mean, it's not organic. It's not healthy at all. Forget
Yeah.
organic. It's not healthy at all.
Yeah.
As much as we may say it's very tasty, but it's not. It's not in
It's
true sense.
addictive. That's the key word. Yeah.
Yeah, it's addictive. So we break that monotony. So if somebody wants, so we have students who will say कि pizza खाने का मन कर रहा है, burger खाने का मन कर रहा है. So we have Wednesdays and Sundays that are cafe days.
Okay.
So there will be some staff member with with some students as well as some non-teaching staff. So they will say, all right, we'll cook a burger for you.
Okay.
We'll cook a pizza for you. So at least some sense we are trying to give them junk food, but maybe which is probably far more healthier as an
Okay.
option. May
Okay.
not be as tasty as a McDonald's or a
Of
KFC.
course. Because it's
All
not
right, may
addictive
not be
either, right?
as good looking as
Yeah.
them, but
Yeah.
it's far healthier than them.
Yeah.
At least we know what we are serving them.
Absolutely. Lovely, Yudhishthir. It's very refreshing to know that what people didn't do in our days, our school days, now there are managements that are consciously looking into this aspect for a child. And
I think it is needed, Shama. It is needed. I mean, the world we are living in today. I
yeah,
mean, the world we're living in today. I mean, it saddens me that there are students who are very obese. It
yeah,
saddens me that the students are mentally very fatigued, they're tired, or generally speaking, they're tired. And a large part of it is to the diet. A
yeah,
large part of it is to the diet.
yeah,
And one of your questions, I was reading one of your questions, health. I mean, I think it should be in our curriculum. It should be
yeah,
in our curriculum given as much importance as any other subject.
yeah,
Because health, financial literacy,
yeah,
and two
absolutely.
things which are really not looked upon in schools in India.
Yeah. And
Nobody
they're
talks about.
practically applicable, right? We are always learning things that, yeah,
Health stays with us for entire term of our life. And
yeah,
financial literacy is again something which we deal with on a day-to-day basis,
absolutely,
whether we are 20-year-old or a 60-year-old. And
absolutely,
these two things are unfortunately not taught in our schools
yeah,
across India. And I
absolutely,
think if we include both of them, wherever we are, whichever field we are in, at least we'll live a healthier life
yeah,
and we'll be better off in terms of our finances as well, and which is I think the need of the hour for both students, parents, everybody alike.
yeah. No, I agree with you. I run a business and I wish that I was taught a lot of things, a lot of mistakes I made or I'm making. I wish I was taught that a little earlier in life. That would have helped. Yeah, I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. Anyway, thanks, Yudhishthir. Thanks for your time and wishing you guys luck. I hope the batches that follow or the batches that pass out of there are a much healthier lot. Thank you very much for your.
Thank you so much. We would love to collaborate to some extent with you.
Yes, absolutely.
And whenever you are in the northern part of the country, please do visit us, and we
There
will
are
see what we can do.
Sure, done. I will do that. Thank you very much,
Uh,
Yudhishthir. Thanks for your time.
Take care.
EDU TV with 1 million eyeballs across the globe.
Connecting schools, universities, industries, and corporate houses.